Hello everyone, and welcome to Thoughts and a Review for a pay-per-view. This time we are thinking about and reviewing Wrestle Kingdom 15 from New Japan. Alright, overall, great shows. Both nights were great. I really enjoyed them. I should be sitting here with a belt out here, predictions championship. But somehow that idiot of a brother that I've got managed to retain both nights. But he didn't do it cleanly. He didn't win. He tied both nights with me. And that's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. That was the worst thing about Wrestle Kingdom. The fact that he managed to retain twice by tying. What I did find out though is that countouts and disqualifications still count as a title change in New Japan. So maybe that's a rule that we passed for New Japan shows that even if you tie, you then go to a tiebreaker and can lose your title. But who knows? Um, yeah, all right. So let's get into night one, and we'll start with the 21-man New Japan Rambo to determine who went into the King of Pro Wrestling Fatal 4-Way on night two. It was advertised as a 22-man, but I guess somebody just pulled out or something. It was a good match. I don't have anything much to say about it. Um, but I don't know. I watched it and I went, "Oh, no, this is cool. This is cool. Whatever." I would have liked to have sort of had the shot of who was coming out. Um, because most of the time it was just their music hit and you had to wait until they sort of showed up to go, oh, that's who it is. A couple of times they did catch the Titantron, but that yeah, if they had done that more so we knew who it was, because unless you know everybody's theme song in New Japan, even the young lions and whatnot, then you've got no clue who's coming out. So yeah, um, so that was the New Japan Rambo. Oh yeah, final entrant was Yano, who didn't even get in the ring to win because, of course, he didn't. So going into night two was Chase Owens, who came out first. Bad Luck Fale, who came out sort of in the middle towards the end. Then Bushi, who came out in the middle, I believe, and Yano, who came out last. Um, so yeah, we then got the number one contenders match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship between Hiromu Takahashi and El Phantasmo. Awesome match. It was awesome. Of course it was. It was Hiromu and ELP. Um, if you're going to introduce anybody to New Japan Wrestling, this is one of the matches to do. Just pull it up, go, right, watch this. It's 20 minutes, 17 minutes, 46 it says. So it's 20 minutes. Just say 20-minute match, watch this. And it was just insane. It was insane, insane, insane. Um, but yeah, no, there's nothing that I can really say that'll, you know, explain how good it was other than it's insane. And definitely go and check it out. And if you know people who are trying to get into wrestling and whatnot, this is a good match to show. Even if you want them to get into wrestling and they don't really think it's any good or whatever, go here, watch this 20-minute match, and they'll sit there and go, "Holy shit!" But then after that, we got the IWGP Tag Team Championship match between Gorillas of Destiny and Dangerous Tekkers. It was a pretty good match as well. It was a bit longer than that match, but I mean, if you get to show them two match, if they've got an hour, show them both matches. It was another really good match. This one here you will have to explain a bit more, I think, because like I'll get into it in a second, but I should mention you'll probably have to explain what like best Super Juniors it is and whatnot for the Hiromu match, but it's not that hard to do. But yeah, for this match you had like Iska's um, glove, can't remember what it's called, the fingers, Iron Claw, I think it's called. Um, that came into play. Obviously, you'll have to explain why the hell Jado's there with a kendo stick. And if you don't know why he's there with a kendo stick, just say it's Jado. And same with Doki, he was there with a lead pipe. If they ask why he's there with a lead pipe, it's Doki. Um, so this was obviously Bullet Club versus Suzuki-gun. And Bullet Club won. God wins. Obviously they needed the help with the glove and all that. But no, it was a really, really good match. And yeah, definitely worth checking out as well. Then we got the briefcase match. The match for the IWGP US Championship briefcase thing. Um, between Kenta and Satoshi Kojima. He was with Tenzan. He came out with him. Um, it was a good match. It was. Kenta, I felt, was always going to win. Um, like, against Juice, that's up in the air. But against Kojima, uh, I couldn't see Kojima winning. So I was pretty much just sitting there going, oh, yeah, no, this is a good match. This is a good match. But not really into it. Um, but yeah, it was a good match. Obviously, if you don't know who Kenta and Kojima are, you're sitting there going, okay, what's going on? And then obviously as it gets into it, you'll probably start getting people into it if they don't know who they are. But even if they know who Kenta is, they're probably still going, oh, okay. Um, but yeah, so Kenta won. After that, Moxley he'd already done a promo and they put it in there. Which was cool. So Moxley's coming back at some point. Then we got Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Great-O-Khan, and good match. Well, of course it is. It was Tana. Um, not a lot to actually say about it because, again, I sat there and went, well, Great-O-Khan's losing. He's not an Osprey. He's not, somebody that's a big name that can beat Tana at Wrestle Kingdom. But he's not, a little name either where it's like, who are you? But, yeah, no. Tana won. It was a good match. I thought that Tana was always going to win. Great-O-Khan never put me, yeah. I sort of went Great-O-Khan, yeah, he's losing. That's what I mean. Then we got the stupid match that cost me the belt on night one. Because if we if I talk about the predictions for a minute, the first match of the main card, which was the Hiromu versus ELP match, that's one that me and Seth had different. Seth went ELP because Bullet Club, and I went Hiromu because it's Hiromu. So I was leading. Okay. The only other match we had different was this one. Okada versus Osprey. And Okada won. Awesome match. another match that, if you're going to get people into New Japan, show them this one. Just show them the whole show. Just say, we've got 8 hours worth of show or something for you to watch. And just watch it. It's great. But yeah, so Okada beat Ospreay. I don't know why. I say I don't know why, because I do know why, but I don't know why. Okada should have lost here, I think, and dragged out the storyline a bit longer. For two reasons. Number one, Ospreay's just formed this new group, and Ospreay should at least win at Wrestle Kingdom to sort of put the group on the map, and sort of, you can push the group by pushing Ospreay. Even though Great-O-Khan lost, it was against Tanner, and you could have Ospreay go, right, you beat Great-O-Khan, I beat you, and set his sights on Tanner, and eventually you can get him all the way up to the championships and whatnot. So I even now think Ospreay should have won, just because it's, yeah. But I should have also seen it coming. It's Wrestle Kingdom, and it's Okada. Okada doesn't get beat, at any point, let alone Wrestle Kingdom. So yeah, Okada won with the Rainmaker, which was cool. He finally brought that back. I'm not a big fan of the money clip. I really, really don't like it. Yeah. I think it's just because it's a submission that doesn't seem painful. Like, it's not a painful submission home. I just look at it and go, yep, it's the money clip. Okay. Where the Rainmaker is at least powerful. But, yeah, whatever. So yeah, Okada won with the Rainmaker, that was whatever, and Seth tied me, and, yeah. Now, at this point, I believe that Kyle was also tied with this. Which, okay, that's whatever. So it came down to the main event. If Naito won, then Kyle wins. Bushi wins, then I believe this is right. Now I should have a look, shouldn't I? Yeah, it was. If Naito wins, then yeah. If Naito wins, Kyle wins. If Ibushi wins, Seth ties with me. And as you already know, Ibushi won. And it was an awesome match. It really was an awesome match. It was amazing. They did just continue to drop each other on their heads, which was, yep, they did it. They definitely did it. So yeah, Ibushi won both the IWGP Heavyweight and IWGP Intercontinental Championships. And yeah, no, it was a really, really good match. At multiple points, I thought Naito was going to retain, but obviously he didn't. Yeah, another match that if you put on, same as the Okada one, you put on for somebody that hadn't watched it or wants to watch it or whatever, not really into wrestling, whatever, they will probably sit there and go, that was amazing, let's watch more. But now we're going to move on to night 2. And obviously me and Seth had 2 different again. One of them we did on the video, on the predictions video. The other one was the King of Pro Wrestling match, where we needed to wait for night 1 to be finished before we knew who was going to be in it. So I picked Yano, Seth picked Farley, Bushi was the only one that didn't get picked. Joe and Carl both picked Chase. So we'll start off on the dark matches. We had Queen's Quest versus Donna Del Mondo. And Queen's Quest 1, both dark matches I didn't see. I don't think that they were put on the actual show, so you couldn't actually watch it unless you were. I think. Um, so everyone picked Queen's Quest in the first one. Yep, whatever. Then I picked Mayu Iwatani and Tam Nakano. Um, and Seth picked Donna Del Mondo, who won. And that really pissed me off. Because I was banking on Mayu Iwatani winning because that was the only one that I'd heard of. And I went, well, she's meant to be pretty good or something, and they really like her or something. I don't know, that's just what I've heard. Um, but she lost, and that screwed me completely. But then we got to the King of Pro Wrestling match, which was the first one on the show, and Yano beat Owens, Fale, and Bushi. So I got a point, which means that yes, we tie. Um, it was another good match. It was mostly about Bullet Club, that being Owens and Fale. Um, Bullet Club teaming up and you know helping each other to win essentially. There was a little bit of dissension in there where Owens would try and win and Fale would be like, "No, I'm winning." Vice versa. But yeah, no, it was a good match. Yano won because of course Yano won. Um, so yeah. We then got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match between Suzuki Goon, that being El Desperado, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and 1 or 8, which is Taguchi Japan. That's Taguchi and Master Wato with Tenzan. Um, it was a good match. Um, Wato, I think, was a little bit out of out of his element, sort of thing. Um, Wato wasn't as good as the rest of them, that's for sure. Like at one stage, he just stood there while Higuchi was pinning. I can't remember what one of Suzuki again. I think it might have been El Desperado. And he just sort of stood there, and right beside him was Kanemaru sliding in the ring and breaking up the pin. Commentators put over the fact that he was inexperienced. Which went, oh, with a little bit more experience, he'll you know he'll fix that shit and be able to stop it and whatnot. But yeah, it was a good match, but it was hampered by the fact that there was a lack of experience by Wato. But no, overall it was a good match. So yeah. Then we get to probably my favorite. Oh, I won't say my favorite match of the night, but it's up there. It's definitely up there. And it was for the Never Openweight Championship. It was Shingo Takagi defending against Jeff Cobb, and it was insane. Um, if you want to show big men wrestling, this one, because it was just insane. Like the amount of shit they did. Like one person would sort of start hitting a bunch of moves, and the other one would just come back and go, nah, that's not happening. And then Jeff Cobb's like hitting backflips and moonsaults and shit like that as well. And it's like, holy shit. In the end, Shingo retained, which, yeah, is also a bit weird because the Empire is now gone 0 for 3 at Wrestle Kingdom, which is another reason why Ospreay should have won. Because now they're all losers. The Empire is shit, I guess. Like, you're on the biggest stage and you lose. It's like the Nexus at SummerSlam 2010. They had the world in their hands. They just had to win this match against a bunch of big names that would have established their group, and off they go. And they lost. Thanks to John Cena, obviously, but, whatever. But we've got the Empire here who are on this big stage. If they can beat these big names, they're off to the races, and they lost. So, depending on how they book the Empire now, um, or mostly Osprey, because Osprey's your biggest player in all this, um, quite possibly they've just ruined a team or a stable, and yeah. But no, this Shingo versus Cobb match was awesome, and Shingo winning surprised me because I had Cobb. But yeah, so since me and Seth are tied as well, and we've got the same for the rest of the show, um, it really came down to Kyle taking the belt again. And when that happens, I'll get to it. But next up, we had Sonata versus Evil with Dick Togo. Another pretty good match. I I was quite happy with it. I was sitting there watching it going, yep, this is an Evil versus Sonata match. They're doing all this stuff that sort of, you know, pulls from their tag team and like when they were tag team and whatnot. Um, but yeah, no, and then obviously the ref gets knocked down at some point and Dick Togo gets involved and whatnot. But eventually Sonata comes back, wins, and it was just a pretty good match. It was good. I sat there and I wasn't upset about how it went. I wasn't anything. I just went, no, that was pretty good. For an in-ring standpoint, that was pretty good. For a storyline standpoint, that was even better. Um, but there is just something about Evil and Sonata that makes me sort of mostly evil, and I don't know why. But I sort of get a little bit bored. Um, I do find it more in evil matches. Some Sonata matches I do get a little bit bored, but um, I really like Sonata. I like evil as well, but yeah. And Sonata winning was the right choice because Sonata should be going for the double titles. And yeah, no, he was just really good. I just want to know why he shaved off his big beard. It was a wicked thing. He shaved it all off. He's starting to get it back now, I think, but yeah. So now we move on to the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match, which is Taiji Ishimori defending against Hiromu Takahashi, who hit the right from night one when he beat ELP. Another just awesome match. This is the match that sort of decided who the predictions champion was. If Taiji wins, Kyle wins. If Hiromu wins, then me and Seth tie again, and Seth retains. Hiromu won. But yeah, no, this is another one that if you're going to show people a match, this one's not a bad one. Um, yeah, no, it was just really, really good, I think. So yeah, it was definitely worth checking out. Um, Obviously, Taiji and Hiromu are going to put on an awesome match anyway, and they didn't disappoint. So yeah. Now we'll move on to the main event, which was for the double championships, which was the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships. Kota Ibushi defending against Switchblade Jay White with Gato. And sorry. And yeah, no, it was the longest match in Wrestle Kingdom history, I believe. At 48 minutes 45, 48 minutes 5, not 45. 48 minutes 5. Long match for sure. It didn't feel 48 minutes long. It felt about half an hour long. So only 18 minutes of it was sort of like, oh, this is getting long, isn't it? But yeah, no, and I only felt about half an hour. So actually, no, I said that wrong, didn't I? I said it wrong. 18 minutes of it was sort of like, oh, where did the time go? If it felt 18 minutes long, then yeah, but it didn't. I mean, I was watching it and I didn't get bored or anything. I just was watching it. Certain bits you sort of went, but then other bits you went, oh, this is really really good, and then it like especially I don't know where in the match it happened, but Ibushi went to murder Ibushi, and at that point things picked up. It was sort of getting stale because there's only so much of Jay White being Jay White that you can actually stand in a match, especially when he's doing the same thing over and over again. But yeah, then it had to have been at least 20 minutes into the match. Ibushi tends to murder Ibushi, where he just doesn't sell or anything. Like, he doesn't even sell the fact that he's out of breath or anything, which was just insane. Like, you're 20 minutes, 30 minutes into a match, and nothing's wrong with you. You know, Jay White had targeted the back and the ribs and the knee to the point of, you know, there was nothing Ibushi could do to win. And then Murder Ibushi just went, ha, yeah, no, I'm fine. And it was insane. But yeah, eventually Kota Ibushi won with the Kamagoye. Um, he had to hit 3 of them. Should mention there was a lot of kickouts from big moves across the entire show and whatnot. Which does make me think that the moves are, you know, not being as protected as they should be. Especially the Kamagoye, but the Blade Runner as well. I will get to that in a second. But the Kamagoye, um, nobody had kicked out of that until Sonata did it, the finals of the G1, I believe. And so he hit a second one and won. Right, that's cool. And then in January, Naito kicks out of 2, I believe. So a third one puts him away, and then Jay White also kicks out of 1. And then Naito hits one on the back of the head and one on the front of the head, and then pins him 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, like the Kamagoye was protected until August, or whenever the hell it was. Might not have been August, actually. Usually it's in August, I'm pretty sure, but might have been September, October. Might have been October. But whenever the hell the finals of the G1 was, it's now just a move. A finishing move that can be kicked out of now. The Blade Runner, nobody had ever kicked out of it until Ibushi did it there. Which is fine, but I would have liked it to have just been bang, it's over. Um, he hit it, and then it's just like, nah, it's over. Everybody would have been expecting a kick out, would have liked a kick out, and all that, and he could have just ran the storyline and whatnot, but no. They had him kick out, now the move is less protected. Sure, it's only one kick out, and if they just keep on playing it where it ends every other match, that is fine. But I would have liked it to have just stayed a little bit more protected. But still, awesome match. Most of the matches were awesome. I'm going to go through and give a star rating. So, the 21-man New Japan Rambo, I'm going to give a 3-star match. The Hiromu ELP, I'll give 4 3/4. I don't think it was quite 5-star, but it was 4 3/4. 4 for the Gorillas of Destiny match. 3.5 for Kenta. 3.5 for Tana. 4.5 for Okada. 5 for Ibushi Naito. Can't rate the two um, stardom matches because I haven't seen them. The Fatal 4-Way will go 3.5. The Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match will go 3.5 as well. Oh, I reckon I'll give 5 to Shingo versus Cobb. 4 for Sonata Evil. 5 for Hiromu Taiji. And 5 for Kota Switchblade. So that was my thoughts and review for Wrestle Kingdom 15. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, follow the Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Links to those are in the description. And other than that, goodbye and good night.